What's up guys, Brendan Hancock here with another episode of Groove Subaru today, and today we brought along the all-new, completely redesigned Subaru Legacy. Now, as we mentioned, the Legacy has been completely redesigned for 2020 along with the Outback. And right now we're actually going to have the 2020 Legacy on the all-new global platform, and this is actually an enhanced version of that platform. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos that talk about cars like the Crosstrek, Impreza, the Ascent, Forester that are on that global platform, I am an absolute major fan of it. Not only is it significantly quieter, the ride quality is significantly increased, and also it's just an overall better driving experience. Not to mention the added safety of it. You're also going to get 40% better energy absorption and 50% less body roll. Now, this Legacy in particular is a 2.5i Premium, so kind of the middle of the road in terms of features and amenities, but it also comes with option package 15. So that's going to give us a couple of extras, such as the blind spot detection, the moonroof that we see up here, as well as the built-in navigation system and fog lights. Now, like I said, completely redesigned, so we are going to see some different design elements here. If we take a look at the front, we have a whole new hexagonal grille design here with this new kind of chrome piece and a much larger Subaru logo here. We also are going to notice some slight changes in the headlight design. So we are for the first time going to see LEDs standard on all 2020 Legacies, and on the higher trims we're going to get these steering responsive headlights. So relatively similar design here, but definitely some changes. We do have a slightly different fog light design down here. Overall, we can tell, it's definitely still a Subaru Legacy, but they've made some mild changes. Now, if we also look at the hood design, compared to a 2019 Legacy, we have a slightly more aggressive look with these interior ridges here. These, ones were on the 2019, but these are definitely new. Definitely gives it a little bit more of a kind of a muscly look. So let's pop the hood here and take a quick look at the engine. Now, as I mentioned, this is the 2.5i. There are two engine options for 2020. You have the 4-cylinder 2.5. Now, this is a slightly changed version of the previous 2.5i. So slight boost in horsepower from 175 to 182, and also a slight bump in torque as well. So we also have a couple of other changes in this engine. This is now going to have the auto start stop feature on it, as does the Outback now for 2020. But previously we just saw that for the first time really on the 2019 Forester. So we're definitely looking at slightly improved fuel economy. This one is rated at 34 miles per gallon on the highway, and obviously a slight increase in savings of fuel and emissions, obviously, with the, gosh, bees, man, I'm telling you, bees. That's a Tommy Boy joke. But anyways, so definitely seeing a slight boost in fuel economy, both on the highway and in the city. Also, all 2020 Legacies are going to come obviously with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, but also active torque vectoring for a first. So first time we're seeing that, definitely loving that. So let's go take a look here along the sides. Now, if we take a look kind of along the side, definitely can still see that this is a Subaru Legacy. Carries over a lot of the design elements previously. We do have a slightly different alloy wheel design here for 2020, and that will change based on the trim level. So these are 17-inch, I believe, and they'll go up to 18 depending on which trim level you get. I didn't mention this though, the other engine option that we do have for the first time is the 2.4 turbo option. So we used to have a 6-cylinder engine option. This one, like I said, is the 4-cylinder, but we do have that as an option. It's the same engine that we're now seeing in the 2020 Turbo Outbacks and also have been seeing for the last 2 years on the Subaru Ascent. So definitely a very, very welcomed feature. The horsepower, the torque on those, it's 260 horsepower, 277 foot-pounds of torque. I absolutely love that engine, but for those looking for slightly better fuel economy, this is the one to go with. Now we're looking, if we look at the side mirrors here, definitely a new design. This is the same that we're seeing on the Outback. And I really like how they've taken the chrome here and kind of brought in that, kind of bring it together here seamlessly. We're seeing a lot of that sort of tying together things, both on the outside here, but also on the inside when we take a look. They've definitely been doing that since the release of the 2017 Impreza. I think it really ties together the interior very nicely. But overall, along the side, not too many changes that we're seeing here. We do also have on this one the keyless entry system, but that's going to be part of the option package 15. So not going to be standard on all premiums, just part of that option package here. Now, if we come back over here to the trunk area, definitely a little bit of a redesign. Actually, now more resembles an Impreza. I'm just noticing that actually. So definitely resembles much more the Impreza 4-door in terms of its design on the back. We have a completely new tail light design here. Definitely more high contrast with the different colors and tones. I really like this black here. Really makes it pop nicely, especially with this silver. They have changed this rear bumper area too. We're definitely seeing a little bit more of that kind of cladding. Not so much here as we are on like a 2020 Outback, but definitely more than we've been seeing in previous years. Now we do also have the backup camera on all 2020 Legacies. Where are you, little button? There we go. And if we take a look at the trunk area, they have increased the size a little bit, not drastically, but we also are going to be able to see, we do still have the ability to fold the seats down, so you do have a huge amount of space in here that you can actually shove, longer objects like skis and things, so long as you don't need people in the back row. So let's go take a look inside and see what's new. So if we take a look inside the new Legacy, this is completely different. I mean, we can still tell we're in a Subaru. The steering wheel, if anything, is the most similar. But almost everything is different. Starting with the seat design here, we're definitely seeing a stitch pattern that really resembles what we see in like a Crosstrek and Impreza. Definitely a more elegant design. I especially love this with the ones that have the brown Napa leather and the touring trims, and the XT touring trims. Looks gorgeous. But if we take a look at a couple things here on the dash, definitely a little bit different. We do have this nice little cubby area here, so definitely some increased storage. And they've also kind of added this new layering technique with additional soft touch material. So this is all leather right here, which is really luxurious. We also have leather over here on the dash. Everywhere really your arm is going to touch is this nice leather material. So even though the seats are cloth, definitely higher grade materials on the inside of this car. Now the biggest change is this behemoth of an infotainment system. So, up until the last couple years, Subaru really, their entertainment system game was kind of below average, and they have definitely stepped it up, and this new 11.6-inch touchscreen infotainment system says a lot about where the company's going. So I absolutely love it. It's very different than it was previously. It's doing a lot of the same stuff, but pretty much everything is all electronic. Previously, you had a bunch of buttons over here to, turn off certain features here and there, and now all of that is going to be done right here in the head unit. So we do have Apple CarPlay standard on all. The only vehicles that are going to get the 11.6 are going to be everything but the base. So the only one that doesn't get it is the base Impreza, or sorry, is the base Legacy, and I really think you want to push for this one because it is awesome. So like I said, this one is equipped with the navigation. If you guys want to see a more in-depth review of this head unit specifically, we did one using an XT Touring Outback. It's going to be exactly the same head unit here. So a couple things would be different, like you don't have X mode to turn on and off, which is the off-roading mode because it's a Legacy. But other than that, 99% of it is all going to be the same here. So we do have the built-in navigation system, but since we do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard, we are going to also be able to use Google Maps, Waze, things like that. Now, they have one thing I really like about this head unit specifically is the ability to have Apple CarPlay up top here, and then also have your radio and stuff down on the bottom. Previously you had to X out of CarPlay, go change the radio, come on back. It was a little bit tedious. Now you really have everything that you'd need right here on the infotainment system. Now, if you've done the most recent update to your iPhone as well, they have kind of changed it here too. You can even split up the screen a little bit more and have the map stuff on one side and have like what's playing on the radio, stuff like that on the other side, or what music's playing from your your iPhone here on the right, and then the bottom's still going to be the radio. So I definitely like that. That's only going to show up like that though if you've done the most recent update on your iPhone. So we do still have to plug the phone in for CarPlay as well as Android Auto. But the nice thing is now they've changed this whole area, since we don't need to have as many buttons down here since they're all in the infotainment system. They've added this nice little convenient place to put your phone. We really struggled in previous years with a lot of our cars. This is, the Outback and Legacy really are the only ones now that really have a good solution on where to put your phone. So this is really convenient to have that. But let's take a look here at some of the other stuff. The nice things they've done with the radio here is now we do actually have the ability to check out, station lists and stuff even on FM. So I can search by categories and genres, where previously I was only able to do that with the Sirius XM channels. So definitely nice to be able to do that, especially if you're traveling and you don't necessarily know what the radio stations are. We also have conveniently located right there your EQ and sound positioner right there on the screen. That would be on there if you were listening to Bluetooth as well. Any of your music stuff, the EQ and sound position button's always just right there. We do also have all of your multimedia stuff here. Now, the CD player is not going to be standard anymore. This one, for example, does not have it, although it is a Subaru accessory that you can get, and it actually goes in here. So it's actually going to go in here if you get the CD player. It's still a one disc, but now it's an add-on option, not a standard feature on any of the cars. although most of the touring ones I think I definitely am seeing with. We can take a look over here at the car info screen. This is just going to give us a nice little traction monitor. It tells you, which way the wheels are going. It'll also show you which tires have traction. And now actually also it's going to track all your maintenance and stuff too. So it actually not only tracks your mileage, but also the date in which your maintenance is due. Now we do have the upgraded version of the Starlink safety and security system as well, speaking of maintenance reminders. So this is going to be the one that we see, in the Forester, the Ascent. It's much less expensive. It's only, to get the upgraded package, it's only $75 for 3 years, and you will get 3 years of the basic package for free. So that's called the Safety Plus package. It is free for those 3 years if you don't want the upgraded option. So it's going to give you the enhanced roadside assistance here with the blue button and emergency services. So if you're you're having a heart attack or you're choking, you can push the SOS button. They'll know exactly where you are and can send police, fire truck, ambulance, all that. So we used to just have it for a year. Now we have it for 3. And for those vehicles that are equipped with the push button start, if you do get that Security Plus package, you're able to do from the My Subaru app on your phone, the remote start, remote lock and unlock, remote vehicle locator, stolen vehicle recovery, all of that stuff. And I definitely think it's worth it. At $75 for 3 years to get all of those features, you're paying $1.50 a month. And most insurance companies will give you a discount of 2 to 3% for having, stolen vehicle recovery and stolen vehicle immobilizer, which you get with that. So they can not only, work with the police to tell them where your car is, but they can prevent it from being turned on again once, the vehicle has been turned off. Now, if we go back to the head unit here real quick, I'm not going to get too in-depth with this just because we did do such an in-depth video with it previously. But one of the things I do like is this little shortcut here. So this is going to be for a lot of your vehicle settings, the eyesight settings and stuff. They've simplified it by creating this little car icon here that if you just tap on it, you can turn off your traction control, you can turn on or off auto vehicle hold, which this vehicle does come with. We're used to seeing on the Legacy's a hill holder button here. Next to the parking brake, but there's a lot less stuff here since it's all in here now. So the difference between auto vehicle hold is that unlike with hill holder where it would, turn on the parking brake, auto vehicle hold is when you get to a stoplight, you just put your foot on the brake for like 2 seconds, take it off, and it's going to use the traction stability control to hold you in that spot until you hit the gas. So we can also take a look at some of our driving assist features here. We do have, pre-collision braking's obviously defaulted to on. This one does come with a blind spot and rear cross traffic, so it's going to default to on as well. And they have kind of changed what they had previously with the lane departure warning and the lane keep assist. So they kind of were 2 different features previously, but now those are kind of combined into one. And then you also have this enhanced lane centering that's part of the cruise control, where the lane keep assist button used to be on a 19. So the default here for this lane departure prevention function, they call it now, instead of lane departure warning. So it's going to default to just the warning buzzer, which is what it used to do. But you can also have it just do, not beep at you, but just do lane departure prevention, which is essentially lane keep assist and works at speeds above 37 miles an hour. Or you can just have it do both and have that on all the time, whether or not you're using cruise control or not. So it doesn't show us, the icons here on like it used to, unless you turn them off, and then it will show the icons on the dash. But kind of a little bit of a change there, what they've done. If we do, speaking of that lane centering, if we look over here on the steering wheel, everything's pretty much the same on the steering wheel. This is definitely where it's carried over the most. The biggest difference is this little button bottom right. So if I push on my cruise control, I'd see an image of a car show up with some bars in front. Just like with regular adaptive cruise, so we can increase the distance, decrease the distance here. And once you get up to the speed you want, you just hit set. And each one of those bars that you see up here is going to indicate a second of travel time. So they're not car lengths or anything like that. They're seconds of travel time. Now the best part about this new lane centering, we're going to do a test drive video with this car and we'll take a look at this. But if I push this button, the icon shows up, it says ready, and it will actually basically be lane keep assist, but work at much slower speeds. So it'll work all the way down to 0 miles an hour. So this is actually pretty great for driving in traffic and stuff like that too. It's really doing a lot of the work. It's centering you as well as, keeping that nice safe distance there. We still have the paddle shifters. We still have automatic headlights. Those are going to be standard. We still have the little toggle switches to change between, the different screen options here. What they have done, however, is they've made it so that instead of the digital speedometer being one of the options to see in the screen area, they've made it so it's no matter what, you're always going to get your digital speedometer, and then you can take you have a couple other options of different things to look at in the top area here. But in terms of the actual, dash area, combination meter and speedometer and tachometer pretty much looks identical. I don't see too many differences except for we do have, that auto start stop icon that's showing up there. Now we take a look over here. We used to have, 8 different buttons for turning off different features of eyesight and stuff. All we have now is just the dimmer switch and the button to pop your trunk. So there's really not much over here because all of it is pretty much on the main head unit now. A couple other things. If we take a look, this is pretty much all the same. They definitely changed the door design here, but not too much in terms of like what buttons are actually over here. Now we do have, on certain trim levels of the Legacy, they do have a button over here to fold in the mirrors, which is nice, but this being a premium, we don't have that. Now if we take a look back to the main head unit here, we used to have for all of our climate control buttons, they were all over here. But now all of that stuff is going to be on the bottom over here. So what we do, we can either turn it on or off with this little on-off switch, or if you tap on the center area, you can actually manually change, where you want the actual air to go, and it shows you this cool little image of where the air is going. You can change your fan speed really easily with the slide of a finger, and can also turn on your full automatic climate control. So I'll turn that down. It's probably going to get pretty loud. Now you also have an option to change this button over here. So I actually personally like that button to be the auto, so I can easily put it on full auto. So all you do is just go to settings here. Under general, just select climate control. Select that and change that to auto, and you see right here it's changing what button is showing up there as your option. I think auto is the most convenient, so that is a setting change I would recommend that you just go ahead and make, because it always defaults to the AC button there. So I can easily just tap it, turn it to full auto. In my personal opinion, that's the best one to have down there. But I do really like the fact that they do have that. It makes it super easy. So now the physical buttons that we do still have, we do have the availability to increase or decrease the temperature here. All my, my front defroster, my rear defroster buttons with heated side mirrors is all still physical push buttons. And we also, our volume knob and tuner knob, as well as the hazards are basically the physical buttons that you have. Everything else, all controlled with the infotainment system, and I think that's totally fine. We're slowly going towards more of the everything's all touchscreen kind of thing. But we're still giving our Subaru owners those buttons that we all know that you love. So we already talked about pretty much everything here. The only things really that have changed up here, we already talked about Starlink safety and security system, still the same sunglass thing here. It's a little bit of a different design. We do have more microphones up here, so definitely probably I'm expecting better sound quality on calls. But they have changed the moonroof a little bit. So we used to have 2 buttons here, one for the tilt feature and one to actually slide it open. So they have changed it a little bit. So if I move this up, now instead of pushing this to actually tilt it, I actually have to push up on this button. And then if I want to close it, I push forward. Now it has to be down in order to actually open it, but you tap towards this way and it will actually open. So not a standard feature obviously, but this one being an option package 15 does come with the moonroof. So definitely a nice thing to have. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that's changed up here. Let's go take a look in the back and see what's new. Now, one of the places that did definitely increase in size is going to be the legroom for the back. Now, the Legacy has always had pretty great legroom, but I'm sitting behind myself. I'm about 6'1", and I have absolutely no issues whatsoever, in terms of legroom. Now, this is definitely a new material for the seats. I find it to be a little bit firmer than it was previously, but not necessarily in a bad way. It's just actually probably a little bit more comfortable, to be honest with you. But it used to be very, very plush material, and now it's a little bit firmer, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It almost seems like in the lumbar area, it gives you like a little bit of back support. I mean, there's no adjustable lumbar thing there, but it seems like it's definitely giving me a little bit more support. So, I mean, I have, sitting by myself at 6'1", probably 4 or 5 inches or so of legroom, so definitely no problems there. And we do have, while we don't have the vents here, with this being a premium, I do still have the 2 outlets back here. So both people in the back can charge their phones, which is nice. And we do also have the latch things down here as well, which makes it nice and easy. These seats do fold down, which we took a look when we took a look in the trunk. We saw that. So, but they've also added these buttons from the inside now, so you can actually fold from the inside instead of having to go to the trunk, come to the side, go to the trunk, to actually fold them down. So that's definitely very welcome. You can both fold from the inside as well as from the back. So very, very convenient there. Other than that, I mean, yeah. I mean, this is definitely a very comfortable car. You'll see when we do our test drive review. This being on the global platform, all of the noise insulation that they put underneath. All Legacies now come with a noise insulated front windshield, and the higher trims, the turbo ones, will actually come with noise insulated front windows as well. So definitely going to increase, that insulation and obviously prevent a lot of that wind noise. So I'm definitely excited. You'll definitely have to drive it to feel that. But if you have driven a 19 versus this, much quieter, much more comfortable. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys found this video to be helpful. If you guys did like this video, make sure to give us a like below. And for more helpful videos like this, subscribe to our channel. Now, the 2020 legacies are continuing to flow in on a daily basis, so to check out our most recent inventory, visit our website at groovesubaru.com and give us a call today to schedule your test drive. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time on Groove Subaru Today. Take care.